Hello, ladies and gentlemen that are listening to the Set Piece Podcast. This is our actual first episode, officially our first episode for the Set Piece Podcast. So a little bit about this podcast about the podcast itself is we're three friends. We'll introduce ourselves in a bit. We like soccer, and we're going to be talking about all things football, all things soccer. We're going to be talking about, anything that happens in Europe, Champions League, top 5 leagues. But our main focus, because it is our actual main focus in terms of the football world, is going to be the Mexican national team along with the Liga MX, the Mexican League. So without further ado, let's actually introduce ourselves. So first off, hi, my name is Guillermo. I am I wouldn't want to call myself a biased Messi fan, but I'm a big Barca Messi fan, as well as a Rayados fan. Moving on to second member here, we have...
So what's up, guys? My name is Jorge. And I am an avid Tigres fan. UNL, La U. So yeah, I'm an avid Tigres fan. Regarding Europe, I watch. My favorite team is Arsenal in Europe. So don't ask me why I chose Arsenal. I don't even know why I chose Arsenal. I'm a biased Ronaldo fan as well. That's something else I should add. Unlike Guillermo here, who's a Messi fan. More of I lean towards the Ronaldo side. I'm a Ronaldo fan for sure.
The feuds.
All right, everybody. My name is Adrian, and I'm in terms of Liga MX, I'm a Chivas fan. And in terms of Europe, I would have to say that I'm a supporter of Liverpool. But I honestly, I like Wolves a little bit more now ever since Raúl Jiménez went there. I'm not going to lie. So now our first point is going to be the Mexico versus South Korea game, which just happened this past Saturday, which was a bit of an up and down for Mexico. We were losing 1-0 for the majority of the game, and then we scored 3 goals in 3 minutes. So we're going to talk about the positive points, the negative points, and how those things can change for the game tomorrow, Tuesday, for against Japan. And so the first thing we're going to start off with is, I think, the biggest concern in the Mexico national team right now is who is going to be our goalie. For the past couple World Cups, it's been undisputed that it's Ochoa. He's done very well for himself, proving himself in the selección and everything that entails. But this season, honestly, hasn't been his best season ever since he went back. But he's had solid seasons. He's done good. But this season, with a move to Pumas, Alfredo Talavera has really come into his own once again, kind of revitalizing his career. And we've seen him come up with a solid amount of clean sheets. And as of this moment, for me, he is the best Mexican goalkeeper. And we'll see if that changes from here on out. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, but I definitely think that Talavera is a guy that you just can't go wrong with in national team games. So what are some of the games he's played? He played against was he the goalkeeper versus Netherlands?
I think it was Talavera, and then Cota was the goalie against Algeria, or it may have been. I think Cota was the goalie against the Netherlands. And
It was Talavera. It was Talavera.
Okay, so Talavera versus. Okay, yeah. So I thought
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say that Netherlands played the most amazing game either, but Talavera did all the right things and stuff against a very capable opponent, probably one of the better teams in Europe at the moment, who they were playing Memphis Depay, they were playing Ryan Babel and stuff, So he was a little questionable, but in general, Talavera played very good, and I feel we see that a lot from him in national team games. But you also see the same thing from Ochoa,
yeah.
We're gonna talk about the penalty shootout on the Gold Cup versus
Yeah, that's the thing about Ochoa. He has history with the national team, so that's why I feel he's just gonna get called up just because he has the history. He's always been Mexico's goalie. He's always been the guy, and Talavera's great. He's amazing. Don't get me wrong. Better than Memo right now. it depends on how you look at it, and depends on what you want to take from, from their both play styles.
Exactly.
But I think that Memo is going to be the one that's going to get called up next
It's
World
because,
Cup.
and that's the thing, because Memo, like Adrian's point has a lot of merit, like regarding like how he's played since turns to Liga MX and stuff, and not only like since his return, but like specifically this year he's improved compared to last year. Because, but yeah, so I feel like his play in national team is very like, it's very different from his play in like in domestic play. So
Yeah.
I feel like you have to take that into account. Like Ochoa hasn't really let us down in national. I can't think of the last time he's let us down in national team games. So.
Yeah, it's super hard to ignore his history in the national team. I mean, everybody remembers the game against Brazil where, he was basically, he basically saved us from losing.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's the advantage he has over Talavera, which is his history in the selección, how long he's been the titular and all that. But I'm really glad to see Talavera, finally getting the credit that he deserves, and really fighting for that top spot, even if he doesn't get it. Everybody knows that he's there, and hopefully, I know he was planning. He said 1 or 2 seasons ago that he was just gonna play out his contract in Toluca and then probably gonna retire. But hopefully with this career revival he's having in Pumas, we can see him a little bit longer, and we see him in Qatar in 2022, even if it's on the bench.
Yeah, but one thing is for sure, I don't think Hugo Gonzalez is gonna be our main goalie anytime soon.
Oh
yeah.
He didn't have the brightest performance against South Korea. And like it wasn't even specifically just his fault. Like there was a lot of defensive mistakes that led to like him being in awkward situations, but he just kind of wasn't in the he wasn't making saves, albeit hard saves, but like saves that like I can confidently say Ochoa or Talavera would have made.
I mean, I won't lie. Like as a Reals fan, like Hugo Gonzalez is our goalie, and he looked extremely nervous against South Korea. I will say that. So maybe he just had an off game, but it doesn't justify some of his saves that he should have made.
Right. No, yeah, I think what these past couple of games, not just Hugo Gonzalez, arguably Cota played against a tougher opponent in Algeria than Talavera played, against the Netherlands. I would have really liked to have seen Talavera go against that Algeria team that, gave us some trouble. But it kind of proves that, in terms of the goalies that we have available in the selección, Ochoa and Talavera are really the upper echelon, and everybody else is kind of just way below them.
Right, I completely agree. It's Ochoa's 1A, Talavera's 1B, and they're pretty much interchangeable at this point. So that's definitely, I fully expect that to be our Qatar goalkeepers. I hope that makes that decision, and like he's probably trying to decide right now, because he is calling up. Like Hugo Gonzalez doesn't get like the common call up, right? So like he's probably just feeling other goalkeepers out, which I like. And it's not like extreme, like regarding like Tata calling up players he wouldn't normally call in positions, like like our experience with Osorio. We don't even want to get into that. Like he within the goalkeeper position, I like that he's already trying to exercise his options, because Ochoa is kind of old. Like he's kind of old, and Talavera too. Yeah, and that's the thing. But I think he's very well aware that it's Qatar, and then like for the future.
So the question is,
he's probably gonna start. I think he should start having a look at, players like Sebastián Jurado, who I think is very good. He's our future. So
yeah, that's an interesting point, because like what's exciting about us not having a set third goalkeeper is that there's competition in that position.
Exactly.
And one guy who I think, I know it's gonna sound biased. I'm gonna sound biased as a Chivas fan, but one guy who can really take advantage of that is Raúl Gudiño.
Oh,
he's been solid these past couple of games with Chivas, and arguably he is probably would be the perfect goalkeeper. He's 6'5", he's really tall. He could be a perfect goalkeeper. And honestly, he hasn't had the best couple of seasons that he's been in Chivas. Obviously, he's been fighting for the titularidad the past 2 seasons with Tonio Rodriguez. But you know what? If he says to himself, I'm going to try to take advantage of, these guys, they are not taking advantage of their chances. I want to. He's done the process in the selección. He's been to, 2 underage, 2 lower age World Cups. It could be good for him.
Yeah. And then, I mean, with Raúl Gudiño, like you just have to mention his base through Europe. You know, it was
Yeah.
very important. You know, being mentored by a guy like Iker would probably did a lot for him, and I feel like Chivas definitely like because he's a Europe capable player. You know, he was there for a reason, and you know, like his game against Dortmund back when Aubameyang was there and stuff. You know, games like that, you know, really showed. Like we saw like a player cut from a different cloth. Like Raul Godinho is not like an average goalkeeper. He's definitely not, but I feel like he just needs to find his rhythm. Like as soon as he can gain that titularidad over Toño and like start getting consistent, I feel like hopefully we'll start to see more of him in like national team games and like from there, hopefully send them back to Europe.
Yeah.
So
But in this,
That's what I'm hoping for.
but in this game against South Korea, we were losing 1-0 for the longest time.
Yeah.
Until like later, but like, I mean, we could talk here all about Hugo Gonzalez, how bad he was, but what did you guys think about the defense? You know what I mean?
so that Hugo Gonzalez he was one of the problems, but I mean, there was just a lot of problems in the way like the team flowed itself. Like, you want to touch up on that, Adrian?
Yeah, and while there were defensive problems, I think, you know, you have to give a lot of credit to Chaca Rodriguez, you know, who's the most solid Mexican right back at the moment. I really don't see anybody who can compete in his position, you know, to even try to take it away from him. And that's kind of scary at the same time. You know, what happens if he gets injured? You know, he's not that young anymore. If I'm not mistaken, he's either 29 or he's already 30. You know, and while we probably will see him in Qatar, you know, he's not going to be there in the 2026. So it'll be interesting to see how Mexico deals with the lack of depth in that position. I know that we have Jorge Sanchez, but the couple games that he's played with Mexico and even with America, you know, he kind of makes a couple of little mistakes that, you know, lead to big consequences. And in the South Korea game, he, you know, kind of fumbled the ball around with Hugo Gonzalez. There was a little bit of miscommunication, which could have led to another South Korea goal. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But I think you have to give a lot of credit to him. And in terms of our center backs, you know, we have Montes and Hector Moreno that started this last game, if I'm not mistaken. And while, you know, awesome Cesar Montes, you know, he's a very capable player of going to Europe. I really like him in that position. You know, Hector Moreno, he's not a player that's, you know, future-proof. You know, he's already older and he's going to be at the last leg of his career probably by the time we get to Qatar. So hopefully we can find, you know, I know Diego was there also. So hopefully we can have a little bit of competition there and either Hector Moreno stays or, you know, some other person takes up his spot.
Yeah. And like touching up on that Chaka topic, you know, he is 29, turns 30 in January. So I feel like he's definitely in his absolute prime for Qatar. And like, I mean, from what we've seen now in these games, like he's extreme. Like he does. It's hard to point out a Chaka mistake. He makes very few mistakes, and like, you know, that's what you're looking for on the player you're trusting on your national team.
I mean, I agree.
So it's like, right, keep going.
No, you finished. I'll let you finish.
No, but I mean, I was just gonna say that, and like how, like, it is kind of scary though, because our next best option, I would agree with Adrian, probably would be Jorge Sanchez at this point. But Jorge Sanchez I don't know, he kind of, you know, like he makes a lot of like questionable mistakes. You know, we can bring up the one against Rayados that literally gave Rayados the championship.
So here's the thing about Jorge Sanchez, right? And I'm gonna agree with you with the Chaka thing in the sense of he is in his quote unquote absolute prime, and he is a solid right back. He is a solid right back. He has shown that he has defensive properties. He has shown that he can pass the ball. He has shown that he can distribute the play. He has shown that he can even shoot the ball if it is needed. He has shown that. But from what we have been seeing in these past couple of games with Tata, the way that Tata's been managing the team, the way he's been managing the team, he's just been pressurizing. That's literally how we conceded the first goal against Korea. Their first attack, we pressured. What happened? One defender in the box, cross, goal. So the only, like, in that sense, Chaka is not that good in Tata's system because Tata needs a right back and a left back that can run back and forth all game. That's why Gallardo's so good in his system, because he can do that. I'm not going to say Chaka can't do that, but I think Jorge Sanchez does a better job in terms of coming back and forth all game because Tata likes his overlapping right back and left back. He likes that because he wants Chucky and Tecatito to be inside of the play with Raul Jimenez. And that's why like we sometimes play with Salcedo, Moreno, and whoever, either if it's Edson Alvarez or if it's Charlie playing at the back, and we're playing with kind of three defenders. That's why I feel like Jorge Sanchez would work better in Tata's system. I'm not saying that Jorge Sanchez is a better right back, but I think that if Tata does end up staying in La Selección for longer, he would pick Jorge Sanchez just because of his play style and because he's younger. That's just me.
I think that is very true. Like I could definitely see where you're coming from with that, because like with Chaka, he's more used to like a very different play style compared to the way Tata's playing right now. A play style, it's some say ratonero, but others would say a play style that gets you results, which Tuca has shown over the past couple of years, right? That's a whole other topic in itself. Whether people Tuca fuera, stuff like that. But yeah, like sometimes you could see how Chaka is like not, because it's not that he plays bad in Tata system, but I do see why you could say that Jorge Sanchez probably would play better, because I'd say Jorge Sanchez, he looks faster. He's running up and down the field, and Chaka's just not used to that. He's used to like, he relies on like positioning. He knows where to be positioned. And I'm not saying Chaka's slow, because Chaka is like, he has speed on him too, but he like is more of a guy that relies on like being positioned in the right place and like knowing when to move up, distributing the ball, like, with like more of a possession based, style of play, defensively and offensively. But yeah, like I could concede that Jorge Sanchez probably would play better, like in like you could say that like in Tata system, because the whole overlapping coming up and back the whole game. Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like it felt like Chaka was playing a lot lower in the field than I'm used to seeing him play with Tigres. You always see him putting in crosses and things like that, but
right.
I was actually really surprised to see him. He was mostly behind the midfield this game versus Korea, so it was interesting to see him play that kind of role as a right back instead of a more, I guess, attacking focused role that he usually plays in Tigres.
So we already talked about our defense. Moving on to our midfield and attack. So Cordoba got exposed. Is that I'm not gonna say that, but he kind of did.
And into the count the way that South Korea was playing.
Yeah.
Like it makes it very hard for a player like that. That he is, he's an explosive player. He's a creator and stuff, and like that's why I feel like this game you could kind of see why like the more experienced, like veteran players, they kind of knew what to do and how to play around a team like South Korea, who was playing park the bus, especially after they scored that first goal. So like, and you could see like where like younger players like Charlie and Cordoba, they didn't really know how to like initiate.
No, yeah, and it was interesting because South Korea was playing very much, pass the ball. One touch, we got to get rid of it. And so it was really interesting to see how Mexico would play against that, because we struggled. We didn't score until the 67th minute. So it was interesting to see how we played against a team like that, because we're not used to playing against teams like that. So yeah, it was just interesting to see how the younger had a playing style that they had never experienced before.
Right, because you can't say Charlie isn't used to playing like against different teams. He's, again, we can take it away on this, but like regarding him playing against Liverpool and stuff like that, he has experience.
Charlie's got experience and stuff. It's just in this game, College won it. Maybe I'm biased or whatever, but he was just given a more calm role. He just kept on tracking back basically all game. He was playing CDM basically 80% of the game, so he didn't have more of an attacking role, but he was I'd say in the first half he was a bit off, but in the second half he found his rhythm. He started doing his passes, started doing his thing, and I think that he was able to I think Charlie's gonna be a good transitional player between the defense and the attack. We'll get into the attack in a second, but I think he's gonna be great. The way that he's been playing, I don't want to speak too soon, but it just gave me some Guardado vibes, man. I don't know, I don't know, but I was just getting some Guardado vibes.
It's because it's hard to compare a player like Charlie to Guardado, because everybody knows the kinds of plays and goals that Guardado has scored. I remember in
Yeah.
2011 Gold Cup versus Costa Rica, that banger volley. It's kind of hard to imagine Charlie scoring goals like that. But no, yeah, he's a really good player, and it'll be interesting to see. I was disappointed that I didn't get to see him play against Fernando Beltran in this past Chivas Monterrey game, because that was really a matchup that I wanted to see. But he's a solid player, and I'm really excited to see not only how he progresses in Rayados, but in the selección, and hopefully see him play in Europe again.
Indeed. But so what about? I mean, we scored 3 goals. They were all in the span of like 5 minutes. Some crazy thing like that. But like, what is our problem? We probably had like 87 shots the entire game, and we just couldn't finish.
Exactly.
I think before we talk about our 3 goals, we have to talk about what exactly changed between us not scoring any goals and us scoring the 3 goals, which was the big 2 changes was Orbelín Pineda and Uriel Antuna, taking out Tecatito, and
I feel like
I don't remember who else, but yes, those were the 2 players that went in.
Right. No, they definitely changed the game. Orbelín, you could just see how he's not so dependent, like kind of like start on staying like just on the wing. He's able to like come in and stuff, and like people were saying about like how Tata likes that. Like sometimes he doesn't prefer to go to a straight up winger. Like sometimes he wants like a cam playing that position. That's why you would see him start Rodolfo as like in the left wing position, but playing as a cam in game. He did that against Netherlands, and like he kind of prefers that in some. So when he I think it was a really good sub, because it pretty much changed the game, and like he saw that the type of game it was. There was gonna have to be more creation coming from in, because like they were just parking the bus. Like there wasn't even an opportunity for crosses half the time. So it was really good.
Before they went in, it was frustrating to see how Mexico they were forcing themselves to play down the middle. Even though there was wingers open, there was a couple times Chaka was open, and whether it was Hector Moreno or Cesar Montes, they were really looking for that center pass and not a wing pass. But I think that started to work a little bit more as when Orbelín went in. He took up that cam position a little bit more.
When actual like center base players took that position, like you could just tell like things flowed better. Like it changed the game basically.
Yeah. So that was interesting to see, and then the addition of Antuna, it's good to see him too. Once again, it may be a little bit biased, but of players on the wings, they're probably the fastest players in the selección. So it was really interesting to see them work together.
I feel like this game kind of showed us who our potential super subs could actually be. Antuna is literally a machine with legs. He runs, and he just runs. And
I was gonna say like Antuna is the perfect super sub. I don't know if he'll ever elevate to the position of starter. I want him to, and he's shown promise, but we're rest assured that he's at least a insane super sub, and like we saw that he literally blew past that South Korean fullback, literally like he was behind him and just ran right past him, and like clinical finish.
So how did you guys like our tridente? We finally get to see Chucky, Tecatito, Raúl.
I need Raúl Jimenez to figure some things out regarding the national team. He's not facing Premier League defenses, right? And so I feel like he gets. I'm not saying that the defenses that we're facing are bad, but they're just very different. Premier League is known for having the most competitive league in the world, and for a reason. They have some of the best defenses in the world, and I feel like he gets way less and way less clear, both way less opportunities, and those are few opportunities that he does get are way less clear than the one with Wolves against Premier League defenses than what he gets with Mexico. He gets almost pretty much sitters with Mexico, and he's missed a lot of them. And it's I don't want to, because I love Raúl Jimenez, but I we have a history of having strikers and main men that lead by example. We saw Chicharito, guys like Borghetti who would show up on the main stage World Cups, and Cuauhtemoc, and and I feel like I don't want to start doubting him, and I'm not gonna yet, but I feel like if this continues, and that's the thing, that he is undisputed our starting striker for 2022. But I need to see better from him in these national team games because he really needs to lead by example. He's like for him to be considered the undisputed best Mexican for us right now. Like he needs to be playing like in the national team. I feel like he's been lacking.
Yeah, and I think the play that best sums up, the kind of struggles that Raul has in finishing with the national team is that pass that he was given on the right side of the goal, where the defender, he moved out of the way basically for Raul to basically go down the middle and get a lot closer to the goalie and score. And he just kind of like rushed himself and instead hit it to the side and he went on the left side of the goal and it just went out. But it just seems like he like rushes himself a little bit more than he needs to. And he thinks, in the Premier League, I'm sure that's how he feels, you have to think super quickly and, you have to get off these shots because these defenses, that's what they're going to try to do. As soon as you touch the ball, they're going to go after you. Mm-hmm. And, he's not used to these defenses that maybe give him a little bit more room to do creative things that maybe he doesn't get to do in the Prem. But it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to that because we have to remember, he hasn't been our starting striker that long. The 2018 World Cup, it was still Chicharito. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to that role as really our main man and our striker and the face of this next generation of the selección.
I think he just needs to get some rhythm. This year, like literally, La Selección played like 5 games, and like they were all like spread out and all butchered. I feel like next summer, I feel like he'll be back because he definitely has the talent and the skill to be our number 9, and I have complete faith in him. So I feel like we just have to wait and see. But I'm not gonna doubt him. I don't think I am.
Oh yeah. Especially with how he's doing in Wolves, I don't see any reason to doubt him. It's just he just needs to take advantage of those opportunities because he could score 2 or 3 goals every game if he really wanted to take advantage of those situations. So it's just wanting to see him, maybe think a little bit more before.
Yeah, right.
To get a shot off.
Definitely not like any sort of doubt. Undisputed, one of the best forwards in Europe. Not just in Mexico. So yeah, it's just hoping that he can find the rhythm with the Mexican national team and stuff, and that'll just come with more games.
And honestly, that goes for the 3 of them, man. Like Tecatito, he's shown in Porto, he's an amazing player. Chucky, he's shown in Napoli, his nivel is back. Like Raul Jimenez, he's shown in Wolves. Like both, like all of them are so good. I feel like they just need to play together more, and they need to like get into rhythm more. And then as soon as they find that rhythm, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on.
And then that's another thing that people need to realize that this was this Tridente's second game together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, we won't even bring up the first one. Let's just pretend that never happened. We lost 4-0 Argentina. But,
that was horrible.
Yeah, this was their second game ever together. And so, yeah, just that chemistry just needs to build. And, like, I mean, we just know for a fact that as long as they're in form, that's just going to keep that's going to be our Tridente. So, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But Qatar is looking very bright because this is definitely for Qatar. This is definitely a way better team that we're heading into there than what the team went into Russia. But that's another.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But yeah, that's another topic for another time.
Right. Another episode. Okay, so let's kind of transition from this national team game that we saw on Saturday to tomorrow. So tomorrow, Mexican national team plays Japan at 2. Oof. And so, what are you guys predicting that the lineup will be?
I mean, honestly, I'm gonna say, I have to look up who got called up.
Yeah, in terms of defense, I think the one change I want to see, and just maybe as an experimental change, but you know what, I think Tata wants to see him play, in a game from the beginning is. Tiva Sepulveda for Hector Moreno. Like I said earlier, Hector Moreno's already getting up there in age. Hopefully he makes it to Qatar, but if he doesn't, Tiva's right there and he needs to get in some playing time so that, he gets used to playing in the selección and it has to offer. And I think with Montes, that could be a really lethal trident, dupla in as center backs. We'll see. Hopefully he plays tomorrow. But if not, Hector Moreno is good, and I'm sure Tiva will get some playing time because he didn't play in this last game.
I'm excited about Tiva Sepulveda. Like I really feel like he's one of our better prospects. So seeing him get playing time would be nice. And by his side, I want to see Cesar Montes. I want to see him. But the thing is, just came out today.
He just got injured But apparently he'll be back. He's gonna go back to Monterrey tomorrow, and he's gonna get ready for La Liguilla. He's not gonna play repechaje, but he should be back for La Liguilla.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry. So then I guess we'll be seeing Tiba with Hector Moreno.
Yeah,
Maybe
or
or
maybe
with
even-
Salcedo.
And
Or
Hector
Tennis.
Moreno, I feel like is like our most Europe-proof center back. Like I feel like he just plays like a center back who's been playing in Europe for years. Like you could just tell the experience with him. So I feel like playing like Sepulveda playing alongside him would like do wonders.
I would like to see. I mean, hopefully Talavera actually starts this next game. I mean, you guys didn't really talk about it, but Nestor Araujo, I think, is genuinely very good, and I feel like I would like to see him start against Tiva next tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just
maybe.
ever since that Argentina guy, I just can't. I haven't seen Nestor the same, dude. Like,
I have faith.
I have, and that's the thing. And he, he's still in Celta. He still plays, and he's still really good. It's just that really shook me, because that was that wasn't even Argentina's eighth. Before that, you can't ignore his games with the Confederations Cup and stuff when he was really like on his rise when he was in Santos, right?
Yeah, he was in Santos.
And he saw some playtime against South Korea, so I'm glad that Tata's giving him some confidence.
Talavera's injured. I don't know if you remember that game.
Oh, he's
That's
injured.
Why. That's why they
In
called him.
goal, it's probably gonna be Ochoa.
Yeah, it's more than likely going to be Ochoa because he didn't play against South Korea. So I guess we'll see him against
So
Japan.
center backs, like we said, hoping for some Hector Moreno alongside either Sepulveda or maybe even Sepulveda alongside Araujo.
I think
feel
that
like
combination makes sense.
Yeah.
And for the
Right.
midfield, I don't care, bro.
Wait, you didn't talk about fullback.
Oh, we didn't. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, left back. I mean, it's just I don't even know who do you even turn to besides Jesus Gallardo. This has got to be him.
Man,
Yeah, that's what we were talking about the other day, right? That if we lack depth at the right back position, we lack depth even more at the left back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
and although in the left back position we have Gerardo Arteaga in Genk,
Mhm.
so that is always
Potential.
a plus. We have a potential star at fullback. He's already in Europe and he's young and he's gonna get a lot of experience. So hopefully he develops very good. But right now it's undisputed Jesus Gallardo. I feel like he's like the guy that makes the least mistakes on this national team. He just makes almost
agree.
no. He plays very good.
So good. And honestly, I would like to see Jorge Sanchez as a starter in this game.
Right.
We saw Chaka last game. Let's
I
see
think this
Jorge
one's got to go to
Sanchez.
Jorge.
Yeah, while Jorge Sanchez made that mistake last game, he did get that shot off against South Korea, which was blocked by the defender. But he can do things like that. Hopefully, maybe he can get an assist or even a goal.
Right.
For the midfield, I mean, honestly, I don't care who's in the midfield. I just want to see Diego Lainez start, man. I just want to see my guy play, bro. He hasn't played, bro. He just hasn't.
Okay, look. For
It's just-
midfielders, I feel like we're gonna go for Charlie Cordova and maybe even Jonah, because there's not a lot left. Hector Herrera went back to Madrid for an
Jonathan
injury.
Dos Santos is injured. He's not in the selection.
Jonathan. Okay, so I was gonna say, but if he's injured, then yeah, it's either Eric Aguirre or maybe even Orbelin. He could start Orbelin
Yeah, I'd like to see him start Orbelin from the beginning tomorrow. That change really worked for him
because that's the
against
thing.
South Korea.
Did he start against Algeria? I don't believe he did.
Orbelin?
Like the past couple games he's been in, like he's been an instant impact off the bench. Against Netherlands and against South Korea. Like just a lot more opportunities being generated. Like he's really shown good things. So seeing him from the start in the game would actually be pretty nice.
Yeah,
honestly,
He didn't start against
didn't start, okay,
Algeria.
that's what I thought. I was just making sure.
Yeah, but I would like to see Eric Aguirre, Diego Lainez, and then honestly Orbelin Pineda. But like
Right.
I don't know how that would work. Or even honestly, I wouldn't mind if Tata tries something completely different and plays Raul Jimenez in a false nine. I wouldn't even mind that either. To be completely honest with you.
No, that's
So
almost.
if Raul Jimenez plays as false nine, who would be striker?
Oh, I mean he's false nine, but we just got you can even put Antuna and Chucky Lozano on the wing. Imagine that Chucky and Antuna on the wing with Raul Jimenez at false nine. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah, but I want to see Antuna start. Everybody makes fun of Antuna because it seems like before this game against South Korea, all he would score against was all these small Central American or Caribbean teams or teams in CONCACAF that don't really present a lot of competition to Mexico. But this game against South Korea, I think, proved that he can go against these tougher teams, and I want to see him do that against Japan And hopefully he gets that starting spot.
Yeah. For forwards, I think it's definitely it's probably a bit Raul. Who else?
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to see Lainez get playtime, whether it be starting or off the bench, because he played really good against Algeria. Obviously, scored the game-tying goal. Looking forward to that. And then, I wouldn't even be surprised if he started Rodolfo Pizarro at left wing.
Yeah.
And expected him to play like more of a drop-down position.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll just have to see. But yeah, there's a lot of options. And then realistically, there's no reason he wouldn't start Tecatito or Chucky. So.
I was reading something online that it said that Tata doesn't want to risk Tecatito, so maybe he doesn't start him. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see tomorrow. But for predictions, for score was good. Are we? Come on.
I'm predicting 2-0, and that who am I predicting the score? I'm predicting that Raul Jimenez is gonna score, and I'm gonna say Orbelín's gonna score. I don't know how he's gonna get involved in the game, whether it be starting or off the bench, but I think Orbelín's gonna score.
Yeah, he deserves a goal after what he did against South Korea. He gave the 2 assists, and he definitely
get that
goal now.
Hopefully, he gets that goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always thought Japan was a really solid national team. A lot of the Asian actually have surprisingly solid national teams.
They have a couple. They have Takefusa Kubo. They have a fullback from Marcel. They have a couple center backs in Serie A, if I'm not mistaken. They have a capable team, and then they have Inui, who plays in La Liga too. But
so it's not going to be an easy game, but I don't expect it to be, if we were going up against England or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But it'll be an interesting game for Mexico. I think these 2 friendlies were really good for them. So my score prediction is something more like 3-1. I think and that's what I'm thinking will happen tomorrow.
Who's gonna score the goals?
I think Raul Jimenez is gonna score 1. Orbelín hopefully scores 1. He after what he did last game, like I said, he deserves 1. And if he plays just as good as he did last, I don't see why he wouldn't. And the third goal I think is gonna come from probably like a midfielder or a defender. So I'll say Hector Moreno. He scores a header or something.
I was gonna go with a 3-1 as well, but I'm gonna go with Chucky doblete.
Okay.
And I think Antuna's gonna score as well. He's just every time he plays with Mexico, bro, he does something, bro. And if he plays,
that'll be interesting to see.
Score. And then Kubo's gonna score a banger against us. Just watch him.
Yeah. Hopefully, Chucky scores. He had a kind of a low key game against South Korea. I'm not saying we didn't we him, but we didn't do anything crazy. He kind of just played his position and played it as well as he could, and hopefully he does a little bit something different this game versus Japan.
Chucky and Tecatito, in my opinion, they both got locked up, probably the entire game, and then the ones that actually quote unquote assisted Raul Jimenez were Orbelín, Antuna. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But moving on from the Mexican games, we'll actually be talking about the Euros, because the Euros are next summer. And the group stages got released this past week, so we're going to talk about them just a little bit.
Oh yeah, this summer 2021 is going to be full of tournaments. We have the Gold Cup, the Euro, the Copa America.
Are the Olympics being played next year?
The Olympics are also going to be played. It's just going to be a crazy summer.
It's going to be crazy
for not only soccer but just sports in general, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good summer. After that terrible summer you had during COVID, I think you can't talk about Euros without talking the group of death. Which is the Group F. F in the chat. You got Hungary, which is that's tough. No, I'm kidding. So you got Hungary, but you also got Portugal, France, and Germany, and you just got to feel for Hungary there. And anything could happen, but I think we kind of all expect. Because it's the top 2 teams advance, right?
Yeah,
top 2 teams, and then the couple top 3 teams. I think.
Yeah. It's
this isn't that how Portugal passed? Yeah, I remember you were bad about that.
Yeah, that's literally how Portugal passed.
Okay,
so they got
so there's a chance that one of these teams, Portugal, France, or Germany, there's a chance that one of them doesn't advance. Who do you guys think it could?
I'm gonna say Portugal. I don't think
So
Portugal's a better team than France or Germany, and I think they're gonna get their place in.
let me get this straight. We talk about Portugal. We have Lopez. From they have Ruben Diaz. Center back in Manchester City now. They got Bernardo Silva, Cristiano Ronaldo, Joao Felix, who's been playing his tail off recently. He's been insane. You got Gage, Gonzalo Gage. You got Bruno Fernandes, who's like one of the best. He's insane signing for Manchester United. Can't believe it took that long for one of the top teams to sign him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if it's Portugal. I honestly think if there's one team from here that doesn't advance, I'd say Germany.
I think the same thing.
Really?
Well, I can
Like
see
from those three, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a situation where the third team doesn't advance, I think it's Germany.
And we can't include Hungary because obviously they're like
Yeah.
the least favorite. But no, yeah, I know that Portugal just lost against France and that Ronaldo hasn't been able to beat France. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the only national team he's faced more than once or just at all that he has not been able to beat. I think he's played against them 6 times and he hasn't won a single time.
Right.
Obviously, again, other than the Euro, right? Because I guess the final was Portugal-France. But in terms of just normal games, so it'll be interesting to see them go up against each other. But I honestly see Germany again. I don't see them advancing. If one of them isn't going to advance, I think it'll be Germany.
Know, because looking at the German team, we got Neuer, Ter Stegen, arguably 2 of the best goalies in the entire world, right? And that's not even mentioning their backup, and that's just goalies. And I guess defenders, they got Sule, Rudiger, Boateng, Hummels. I don't know if they retired from the national team. Jonathan Tah, Ginter. It's a lot of Klosterman. A lot of just average. I want to say above average defenders, but then you move on to the midfield, you get Havertz, Gundogan, Emre Can, Draxler, Kimmich. Oh my God, Kimmich. Toni Kroos, Brands, all these big, and then I don't even
world class. Havertz.
And then we have Timo up top with Leroy and Serge Gnabry. I don't know. It's Royce. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
It's because the German national team is in kind of an interesting spot right now where a lot of the players that won the World Cup with them and that have kind of did the process in the 2018 World Cup even, they're not going to be playing for them anymore. They're already either retiring or they're just retiring from the national team. So they're kind of in this weird spot where they have a mix of players from that generation and a mix of players from this new generation. So it'll be interesting to see how they play together. But, in terms of, I think they're at a disadvantage because of that. France and Portugal, their players kind of know each other already.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how.
So, because Germany is definitely from those top 3, the one that transition period. So,
I'm gonna so what do you guys think about winning the entire thing?
Honestly, I think it's between Belgium and England.
I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna say England's gonna win. I think it's coming home.
Yeah. I was really surprised. England's been doing really well. Obviously, I think they just lost 2-0 versus Belgium yesterday, the day before, something like that. But they've been playing really solid. Jack Grealish, he's been going off for them.
Jack Grealish,
Grealish, yeah. I honestly see him. I don't think he's going to be in Aston Villa that much longer unless they sign him to some big contract.
He shouldn't be because honestly should have been signed this transfer window, but he wasn't. But
so
he's gone next transfer window.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's been insane for them. They have guys. They have Rashford. They have Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho's tearing it up too.
They call up what's his name?
Mason Greenwood.
Mason Greenwood is an absolute superstar. He's insane.
DCL. They got
you got Mason Mount. Who's been having a good year. You have
Tomori.
Phil Foden. Tomori. Yeah. You got
Harry Kane.
Yeah, you got Harry Kane. Harry Kane.
Ollie Watkins.
You got Dele Alli at Cam. You got, and then in goalkeeper. And then the only thing is their defense, because they got Trent. They got Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back.
Jordan Henderson.
And then exactly for midfielders. And then for I know they've been. Did they call up Chilwell?
Chilwell, I don't know, but I mean they've been playing Kyle Walker at center back, so I mean.
Oh yeah, right. They have Kyle Walker. Yeah, if they play Kyle Walker at center back.
And Harry Maguire isn't bad either.
I think one of the biggest
He's been
positions
terrible.
where England disappoints is their goalkeeper. I'm not saying Jordan Pickford is bad,
Yeah,
but he's not in this huge team.
Dean Henderson shows promise.
Promise.
Henderson
That-
shows a lot of promise. So
Uh,
we'll just have to see how he develops
Yeah.
now that he's on Man U. But I could definitely see what you're talking about because Jordan Pickford is a world class goalkeeper, but
Mhm.
he's there's something to be desired there. 'Cause
Yeah, there is.
Prem is infamous for having so many world class goalkeepers. Lloris, you got De Gea, Allison, Ederson. But like in terms of just straight up British goalkeepers, it's kind of lacking a little bit. Something to be desired there. So we'll just have to see how if Henderson is able to nab the starting 11 from Pickford, and just hopefully they do good. But yeah, I got England winning. They're just
I think
they're
it's
on a
between
roll.
England and Belgium. Belgium super
yeah.
powered right now too. Lukaku, De Bruyne, they're insane too. So we'll see.
England and Belgium are both definitely up there, but honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing. In fact, I would like to see France get their deserved Euro. I wouldn't, and honestly, I wouldn't even sleep on the Netherlands either. That's
And
just
if
me.
you're France, do you call up Gignac? There's a lot of things to consider.
I mean, yeah. Do you
Nah.
call up what's his name? Jeremy Menez.
If France is considering calling up a 35-year-old from Liga MX, there's no problems.
I'm kidding. No, but yeah. So yeah, that's for Euros. Lots to look forward to there.
Yeah.
And so heading into our final kind of like big topic, we're gonna be Adrian, you wanna introduce it?
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna be talking about the Liga MX liguilla, repechajes that are going to happen in about 5 days on the 21st, this Saturday and Sunday, and how that leaves the climate of the league and what teams we think are gonna pass.
The outlook is it's gonna be a bloodbath. We can all confidently say that it's gonna be insane. The games that we're looking at. So first we have repechaje, which is this weekend. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So first game, or I'm not sure which one is literally played first. Let's see.
It's
The first game, if I'm not
Pachuca.
mistaken, is Santos Pachuca.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so Santos Pachuca. Who do you guys have winning that and advancing?
Santos.
I have Pachuca, honestly.
I have Pachuca too.
Really?
And not because I think they're way better than Santos, but just because, Victor Guzman, he's been going off these
He's
past
been-
couple
yeah.
games for them.
It almost makes you kind of
Yeah.
sad that that whole thing happened with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he comes to Chivas this offseason. A lot of people have been saying he isn't. I would love to see him play in Chivas. I've been wanting to see him play in Chivas.
Such a
Yeah.
good player.
He's just one of those players. He's like the player that got away from us.
Yeah.
But
He's a player that got away from Europe, honestly. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no, that's why it hurt. It's just kind of hurt seeing him play so well.
yeah,
But I'm hoping that he gets his shot at Europe. I'm hoping there's some
Yeah.
way, because I know like what happened is it's a huge knock to your chances of playing in Europe. But
Mhm.
he was young and stuff. And hopefully.
Oh yeah, whether it's in Pachuca or maybe even Chivas, hopefully, he's gonna have a shot at Europe. Pachuca. I can't say Chivas has way more, European teams watching them because Pachuca has already sent a couple of guys to Europe recently.
yeah.
So it'll be fun to see them play, and hopefully Victor Guzman can regain the nivel that he had before all of this happened, because it's surprising that
Absolutely.
he's been playing so well, especially he hadn't played in a long time. So it's really exciting to see him playing like that.
And then Chivas. Oof. Adrian.
Chivas versus Necaxa next. I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna have the
Necaxa has won all 5 of their last games. They got 15 points in their last 5 games. You can say whatever you want that it was against lower table teams, because the 3 of those 5 games were against the bottom 6 teams, and the only ones that weren't were against Toluca and Pachuca. But winning 5 games in a row, it doesn't matter who you are. It's not easy.
Yeah. Agreed.
So I'm kind of scared in that aspect. We also just lost a couple hours ago. They announced that Alexis Vega's out for 4 to 6 weeks, which is extremely
That honestly is a huge
Disappointing.
loss.
disappointing and
Huge
infuriating. Like, unless you watch a Chivas game, you do not know how important
No,
he is
he's
to our team.
insane. He is the bridge between
Yeah.
midfield and Like
He
he's involved in almost
Mhm.
every play. That's
he
it.
came to our team as a striker, right? I'm not saying he played that badly, but he was never, Alan Pulido was here, and he while some people can say he wasn't that good, he was just never able to win that starting spot for him. But they played him as a false nine, if I'm not mistaken. It was Cardoso who started playing him as a false nine, and that was a revelation. That's the position he's been playing,
Right.
and he's just been an absolute tank for us, recovering balls from midfield, taking them forward, going back, defending. He just does everything.
Right.
And especially with his physicality, how big he is, and how fast he is, it's just a player
Yeah,
you're gonna miss.
Yeah, he's buff. He's got a good stock on him.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
Something that a lot of Mexican players lack. So
Yeah, kind of infuriating seeing him get injured. I'm not gonna lie, I was mad. Seeing the injury report a couple hours ago, I was really mad.
The way,
especially the way, yeah, exactly. In a friendly, not even the Selección Mayor Sub-23 versus Cruz Azul. Just a game to maintain. The ritmo. Just so you don't get. You're warmed up and you're still good for your games. And
right.
That Ignacio Rivera, I think is the guy's name. He takes that kind of tackle. In a normal game, it's kind of like, oh, it's a game. It's a play. But in a friendly that means literally nothing, and it's just basically practice. That's like if some guy in a practice slide tackled one of his teammates. It's just like that.
Yeah.
So it's extremely unnecessary. Ricardo Peláez came out saying that Chivas are gonna look for getting that guy suspended for probably a game or something to recuperate what he took away from us. But yeah, it's just really disappointing to see that.
I was gonna say, after the season Macias had, which just hasn't been the best, this is his time. Chivas right now are they're left in a really bad spot right before liguilla. So if he can manage to channel his old León days right here during these games, especially during repechaje, and then if they can even manage to win this game in repechaje against America, they're gonna need the absolute best version of JJ Macias. What do you think? How do you think he'll play?
Like I said, I've told you guys so many times, every game he plays, he misses 4 or 5 chances to score a goal. And now that we're missing Alexis Vega, there's no one to pick up the slack. Because sure, we have Ángel Saldívar, we have Ronaldo Cisneros. You could even say we have Oribe Peralta, right? To play strikers. Those guys just aren't. They're not the starters. I think we're gonna play. I was already saying before, we played really well the Pumas game and the Monterrey game. I was already saying, Vucetich, he has things to think about. Do we even need Macias in the starting 11? My dad has the saying, that whoever like alineación that wins, you got to play him again because obviously it's doing something right.
Right.
But now that we're kind of forced to replace Alexis Vega, it's going to be interesting to see if we go with what a kind of lineup we go with. And I didn't like how we played 5 defenders against Rayados, but maybe we're going to have to play like that again. And it'll just be interesting to see what we do and if Macias can show the kind of player he was in León and pick up that slack that Alexis Vega can usually pick up.
That's on Saturday, but then on Sunday, that's when the big boys play. That's when
the last couple of years.
So, but first is Tigres. So, George, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, we've had a good year, but you can't call it anything better than a good year. There was a lot. One of the things we struggled a lot in was closing games because, through the Tuca style of play and stuff. Sometimes it's disheartening seeing how quick he is to shift the switch from let's get this goal to okay, we got the goal, let's calm down now. And that has gone bad for us. Literally, there's countless examples, and the most glaring one is our latest loss against Atlas. But at the end of the day, it's just Tigres weren't playing the same way we were playing in the first half of the game that got us the goal. And I feel like Tuca really has to take some risks if we're gonna win this liguilla, because a lot of these teams, and especially in the repechaje, that only requires 1 game. So if I'm to look at 11th place, I'm thinking it doesn't matter if we're not better than Tigres, which they probably know they're not. they know that they just have to be better than this for 90 minutes. And considering the way Tuca plays, if they can get a goal on us first, I'm already a little scared. But besides, all those bad points, we have had a good year. Nico Lopez has been an absolute revelation, the best. I'd say he's the best Liga MX signing from last torneo. He's been absolutely amazing for us. So I'll be interested to see how much Tuca plays him, if he even decides to start him somewhere in there. Leo Fernandez, he's been absolutely amazing. He should be amazing. But yeah, I like our chances against Toluca, but we'll just have to see what type of game plan Tuca's coming out with, whether it's possession or if it's get the goal, and then once we get the goal, we just stop attacking. I don't like our chances if that's what he goes with. But we'll just have to see. And then we have Carlos Salcedo, who's had a good string of games for Tigres, and then to score in the national team game, which eventually ended up being the deciding goal, because had he not scored that's a 2-2 draw. So he's probably a confident Salcedo is key. Like we've seen, like his best times from his career have been on a team that he feels confidence in, not only in himself but like from the team. Going from Salt Lake to Torino in Italy and then Frankfurt, those are huge leaps, and like he's capable. So right now, coming out, he's in a good moment. So I expect good things from him. But yeah, I fully expect us to advance. But some things could go wrong. It is a one-game repechaje. Nothing is guaranteed. But I like our chances against Toluca. I think we have a really good chance of advancing against Toluca.
I'd definitely say that Tigres, Rayados, and Chivas are definitely the favorites going into each of their matches. Right. But that also goes along with the pressure that we have. You know what
exactly.
I mean? Like
to be the team that you're expected to win, you gotta. That's on your mind. Choke. Exactly, that's on your mind going into it. These other teams have nothing to lose.
Nothing.
For one game, not for
they're lucky to. They're honestly lucky to be there.
Facts.
Exactly.
But as soon as Tuca takes a lead, he's the kind of coach that's just like, we take a lead, like let's either we don't attack or we park the bus.
Exactly.
That doesn't always work because even though you're not going to attack, the other team's going to want to keep attacking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how you play against Toluca.
The last game this weekend is going to be Rayados against Puebla. I mean, like I'd say we had a good season in the beginning. It was extremely sus because Turco was forcing formations that weren't working. We kept on dropping points in games that we shouldn't have dropped. We kept on just not playing good style of football, I suppose. But recently, Turco changed the lineup, but it's not good enough for me to be confident enough to be like we're winning this Liga. You know what I mean? Like I'm still gonna, I'm always gonna go for Rayados and stuff, but it's just different. I don't have that confidence that we've had in previous years. But then again, years that I do have confidence, we don't win, and years that we don't, we do. So you know what I mean? Anything can happen. Cesar Montes is injured, but that's not too much of a loss because he's only not gonna play in the repechaje. He should be back for La Liguilla. It's interesting to see who he's gonna play. If he's gonna play Sebastián Vargas, which we have from Lomb, and we are looking to buy because he is an absolute monster in the defense. And I would like to see not Rayados beat Puebla, of course. We have that pressure, 90 minutes, anything can happen. But I would like to see Charlie excel in this Liguilla. I want to see him to outshine every single player on the field because he had interest this past summer from European clubs, and I would love to see him go this winter to Europe. We've seen it before. Lainez won with America. He was a highlighted player in the game. Yes, he was younger than Charlie, but he won a Europe. Now, when he got to Europe, that's a different story. But he won a Europe, and I think Charlie's ready.
He didn't even deserve to go. I mean, that's the real question.
Oh my god. Okay. That's another topic. I think Charlie deserves to go. He's ready, and I would like to see him in the Italian league.
This game that Chivas just played against Rayados last week or a week and a half ago, I was so surprised to see him not playing. I mentioned that earlier. Turco left so many of his best players on the bench. I was extremely surprised to see Rogelio Funes Mori not starting. Yeah. I was super surprised to see Charlie not starting. Seems like, I'm not going to say he thought, this Chivas game was going to be easy, but he kind of went in thinking we have to save our best players for Liguilla. We're already guaranteed spot. You like maybe even top 4. But
Right.
then you got a little surprise at the end. We kind of destroyed you guys at the end.
Yeah.
So hopefully that doesn't happen, right? Because I don't think you can hold guys like Funes Mori and Charlie on the bench when you're fighting for a championship.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Right.
Like Rogelio's always been our goal scorer, so we're gonna need him. They've been pushing Johnson, but it's just he's not finishing.
No, yeah, that
I mean,
open goal miss.
Oh my god. There's something to be said though about the year Funes Mori's had. And like I know you've said due to the positioning and stuff. Yeah, it's just can get it back because he's literally infamous for all the insane goals.
Yeah, because that's the thing. He's always been Rayado's like main number 9 like striker. He's always been the goal scorer that stays in the middle. The Rayados pass up the ball, he holds it, distributes, runs, scores a goal. But this season, Turco has just been okay. Play 4-4-2. Play 4-2-2. I want 2 strikers. I want Johnson Rogelio. I want Akeloba Rogelio. No, bro, just leave Rogelio alone up top, and he will score the goals. And like you said, like this year hasn't been the best because of different formations and different style of play against previous years. Like it's sad to see.
Yeah, and then the game versus Chivas, if I'm not mistaken, Akeloba was playing behind Johnson, right?
Yeah, Akeloba was playing behind Johnson.
He didn't, they both didn't really do much.
It's because it's if Akeloba's gonna play, he needs Rogelio. If Johnson's gonna play, he needs Rogelio. Both they're not going to be able to play together unless they fix something, and they're not going to be able to play together.
That could have ended the game. That would have killed us right there, and we wouldn't have ever been able to come back. Trust me, as a Chivas fan, I'm surprised we even came back from 1-0 down. So I like that. There's just those opportunities that those players tell themselves, imagine I score it.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
After something like that, it's a tough decision for a coach because you're like, do I not play him and hurt his game mentally, his mental game? Or do I put in the guy who I know would have scored that?
Yeah, like Rogelio 100% scores that, wins us the game. GG's, we go home, we're in top 4. We don't even have to talk about repechaje.
Exactly.
But here we are.
Same thing for Nyak. If we don't get, for Theatres in general, we don't give up that goal at the end. So a lot of heartbreak in the last week.
Yeah.
Heartbreaks last week. Hopefully we don't have any more heartbreaks this week. Hopefully we all make it into La Liguilla, and then we'll have to see this weekend, to talk about it next week. But so will you guys have to wait until next week.
Yeah.
Because that concludes this episode for this week.
Yes.
And remember to find us out here at the Set Piece Podcast on Spotify, hopefully Apple Podcasts or wherever podcasts are played.
Okay. Yeah, so hopefully there's a lot of good news coming next week from all of us. That Mexico won the game tomorrow and that all of our teams. But thank you guys very much for tuning into this first episode. If you guys liked it, follow us. But yes, thank you guys very much for tuning in. And this concludes episode 1 of the Set Piece Podcast.